10 Early Signs of Diabetes in Kids 2020. Contrary to popular belief, the only older people suffer from chronic diseases such as diabetes. More and more kids are now being diagnosed with this illness all over the world. The type of diabetes that kids are prone to is type 1 diabetes. Also known as juvenile diabetes, this type is diagnosed in almost 40 children every day in the United States of America alone. Type 1 diabetes can be considered as the rarest type compared to other diabetes types such as type 2 diabetes and gestational diabetes. More and more people, especially the younger ones, suffer from it. Type 1 diabetes usually occurs a person's body is stopped from producing enough insulin, which is a type of hormone that every human need. In order to survive, people, especially kids with this type of diabetes, should have insulin injected in their bodies every single day in order to continue living. With the help of modern technology, kids with type 1 diabetes can live a normal life because they have better options in terms of blood glucose testing and insulin administration, which is just some of the common processes that diabetics undergo. To help kids cope up with their condition, more and more medical facilities now offer treatments that can help the child live an active, healthy, and life filled with fun excitement just like other regular kids. Frequently asked questions on diabetes. Diabetes mellitus is one of the most costly, burdensome chronic diseases of our time and is a condition that is increasing in epidemic populations in the whole world. The complications resulting from the diseases are a significant cause of morbidity and mortality and are associated with the failure of various organs such as the eyes, kidneys, and nerves. Diabetics are also at a significantly higher risk for coronary artery disease, peripheral vascular disease, and stroke, and they have a greater likelihood of having hypertension, dyslipidemia, and obesity. What is diabetes? Diabetes is a serious disorder of the glands, of the pancreas to be exact, called madhumeha in Ayurveda. It is one of the most insidious disorders of the metabolism and, if left undiagnosed, may lead to rapid emaciation and ultimately death. What are the types of diabetes? According to Ayurveda, diabetes is of two types. Diabetes mellitus, insulin-dependent juvenile diabetes (IDDM type 1), in which the body is unable to produce insulin. Non-insulin dependent adult-onset diabetes (NIDDM type 2), in which the pancreas produces insulin, but it is insufficient for reducing the blood glucose to normal levels. What are the common symptoms of type 1 diabetes? Some of the common symptoms of type 1 diabetes are excessive thirst, frequent urination, unexplained weight loss, irritability, weakness, fatigue. What are the common symptoms of type 2 diabetes? Some of the common symptoms of type 2 diabetes are loss of weight, numbness in hands or feet, uncontrolled infections, pain in the limbs, inflammatory chest infections, dimness of vision, contrast, excessive thirst, body weakness. What are the different tests for diabetes? Urine test, some chemicals are added to a few drops of urine. Color change indicates presence of glucose in urine. Blood test, in this, blood is taken to test the glucose level. This is a more accurate test to confirm diabetes. Which parts of my body are affected by diabetes? Blood vessels. The higher level of glucose damage the blood vessels. As a result of this, most of the diabetic complications occur in blood vessels. Heart. Diabetes affects the heart by increasing the amount of fat in blood and increasing the amount of homocysteine in the blood. Kidney. In diabetes, because of increased levels of glucose, kidneys have to do extra work to retain essential substances and separate waste products to produce urine. This affects the small blood vessels and their capacity to filter. After many years of work, it leads to kidney failure. Eyes. Diabetes affects blood vessels of the eyes. Damage to these blood vessels leads to eye problems like damage to retina, cataract, or total loss of vision. Foot. Damage to blood vessels reduces blood flow to the feet and increases the risk of developing foot ulcers and infections. Nerves. High glucose levels for a long time damages nerves. Nerve damage reduces sensation in some parts of the body, which may lead to numbness and tingling, fainting, and dizziness. Home remedies for diabetes. Sad face. Watch our previous video on this topic, link in the description down below. The best remedy for this disease is the bitter gourd, better known as chlorella. Eat this vegetable as often as you can or have at least 1 tablespoon of chlorella juice daily to reduce blood sugar levels in your blood and urine. Amla, due to its vitamin C content, is effective in controlling diabetes. A tablespoon of its juice, mixed with a cup of fresh bitter gourd juice, taken daily for 2 months will secrete the pancreas and enable it to secrete insulin. Take 10 tulsi leaves, 10 neem leaves, and 10 bellpatras with a glass of water early morning on an empty stomach. It will work wonders in keeping your sugar levels under control. The leaves of the butea tree are very useful in diabetes. They reduce blood sugar and are useful in glycosuria. Take 2 teaspoons of powdered fenugreek seeds with milk. 2 teaspoons of the seeds can also be swallowed whole, daily. Eat 10 fresh fully grown curry leaves every morning for 3 months. It prevents diabetes due to heredity factors. It also cures diabetes due to obesity. Dealing with diabetes in children. Parenting a child is enough to challenge for a parent once he or she has decided to form a family. But when a child is diagnosed with a chronic illness such as diabetes, parenting and raising this child become more difficult, challenging and at times, frustrating. To help parents deal with their children when diabetes attacks them at such an early age, experts say that they should 1. Encourage and help the child to develop healthy eating habits. Once a child is diagnosed with diabetes, it makes his or her world smaller. There will be more restrictions, especially in eating. These restrictions can lead to eating problems that will be harder to manage once they get older. So as early as now, parents must instill among their kids the importance of eating healthy and well-balanced food to avoid further diabetes complications. Parents must also make sure that the child follows the regular schedule in taking in snacks and eating meals. But if the child doesn't want to eat a certain type of food you're offering, don't force him or her. Instead, give the child a variety of healthy foods that he or she can choose from. 2. Ensure to test blood glucose levels regularly. The ideal frequency of blood glucose testing is at least 4 times per day. If possible, the parents should monitor this themselves to ensure that if the child is coping up with the condition or not. 3. Instill in the child the importance of regular exercise. To avoid being obese that can lead to more complications among kids with diabetes, parents must make exercise a part of the child's daily living. This exercise should not be so rigorous, it can be a simple walk, jog, or even helping out with household chores as long as there's enough movement for the day. 4. Reassure the child of your love and support. There are kids with diabetes who think that having a chronic illness is their fault. Many of them also think that they have that condition because they did something bad or they are not just good enough for their parents. To erase these doubts in the child's mind, parents must always ensure their child that they will support him or her no matter, and they will love the child no matter what. Early signs of diabetes in children. Most kids exhibit few or no noticeable symptoms of diabetes and tend to be shocked when high sugar is detected in routine blood or urine tests. In children who develop diabetes, 2 typical symptoms are present: frequent need to urinate and increased thirst. 1. Frequent urination. A patient of diabetes passes large quantities of urine several times a day. There is a frequent urge at night to empty the bladder. When glucose cannot enter the body cells, it accumulates in the blood and starts appearing in the urine. Diabetics are prone to excessive urination because the glucose in the urine draws water within than is normal. 2. Increased thirst. The loss of water from excessive urination generates excessive thirst. A patient of diabetes frequently feels thirsty and drinks large quantities of water at short intervals. 3. Extreme hunger. Diabetics tend to feel hungry most of the time and eat large meals. They eat and too much, but despite this, they continue to experience hunger pangs. 4. Loss of weight. Continual loss of weight despite the intake of frequent and large meals is another symptom of the disease. The body is starved of energy, as glucose cannot enter the cells. In a desperate effort to get energy, the starved cells use up fat and protein. This causes a loss of weight. 5. Weakness and fatigue. Diabetics fatigue quickly even after little exertion. They also feel out of breath easily. The sugar in the blood does not get into the cells where it is converted into energy. This lowers the stamina and resistance levels. 6. Depression. Inertia and lethargy are also seen in kids suffering from diabetes. They avoid playing and are often feel run down. Not only their body but also their moods show a state of depression. They cry a lot and are mostly fussy. 7. Fatigue. The lack of sugar in the cells of the kid might make him or her lethargic and tired. 8. Irritability or behavior changes. In addition to mood problems, your child might suddenly have a decline in performance at school. 9. Fruity smelling breath. Burning fat instead of sugar produces certain substances, ketones, that can cause a fruity breath odor. 10. Blurred vision. If the child's blood sugar is too high, fluid might be pulled from the lenses of their eyes. The child might not be able to see it focus properly. 11. Yeast infection. Girls with type 1 diabetes may have a genital yeast infection. Babies might develop diaper rashes caused by yeast.